tactical corner. Okay, and his breakdown of Northridge, and as always, I'll give my little breakdown afterwards. Um, so, Tact, whenever you're ready, buddy, take it away.
By the way, I just want to let you guys know that Tuna came up with that name. I'm not. I don't have the headspace to come up with that, so that is all Tuna. Um, really quick. So just bear with me, guys. I'm just gonna be 100 transparent. I am also gonna be. So I'm gonna be going back and forth. I have two maps open. Um, I don't have every single key memorized for Northridge because I just started playing it again, and there's a lot of keys. It's the biggest map in the game. So if I'm I'm gonna try to cover everything, and then we'll go from there. So
As a greedy loot goblin, I know where every key is, and I can help him out if we get to that point. So don't you fret, buddy. I'll make sure we get those keys.
heck yeah. All right, let me get my little draw tool here. All right, so we're gonna start. I don't know why I always pick the west side of the map to start on, but that's where we're gonna go. So our first spawn that we're going to cover right here is going to be the bus terminal spawn. So bus terminal is not really anything worth looting. It's typically where people go to exfil at the end of the game if you spawn on the east side of the map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just straight beeline it. You could stop at camp services right here if you want. I typically don't because you know where I mean everyone wants to go to hotel. That's the main area on this map. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of now there is a spawn right here to the south of Southwest Camp right here, and they'll either go hotel or they will push into camp services. Now, what I kind of do is if I'm kind of running by, I'm gonna try to keep a low profile. I'm gonna hit this tree line to the north of camp services, and then just straight stay within the trees, keep going all the way down, and then hit. I'm probably go in the northwest side of hotel right here, and then I'm gonna just start cracking away at getting the loot because you're gonna have. I do have a spawn right here, so they're gonna get in first pretty much every time. If you notice all the spawn points on the map, all I didn't say it, but they're in green. The green circles. That spawn right there in between camp services and hotel, they're gonna get there every single time. Now, be mindful. These green circles don't mean they're gonna be exactly at that point, but in that general area. You know what I mean? So let me pull up. I want to pull up my other map here real quick. And then what I want to look at is where is it here? Um, where'd it go?
You're looking for Tact.
Somewhere. I'm looking for there it is. I found it. Okay, so the service area manager's office key is the one that I was trying to find for camp services. So if you go in, let me clear this out so you guys can actually see without all the red confusing you. So in camp services, there's two safes. There's the free safe that's up on the very top floor. So I guess technically it would be the third floor. That's a free safe. And then there's a locked room on the second floor in the back. So that is a service area manager's office key. It has a document box in there, some drawers, three drawers, and then it has the safe. It is not a loud safe. It's just one of the you just hit it and it opens. And camp services is okay. I mean, I pulled some reds from there, but it's not going to give you if you stop at camp services though. I mean, you could if you're trying to do a loot run, but you're going to miss out on a lot of it because when people get in hotel, man, they they zoom through hotel to try to get as much loot as possible because it's the main loot area. Yeah, camp service is not bad. It has a plethora of like jackets and stuff throughout the whole camp itself. I think there's a jacket on every single floor. So it's not a bad loot area. It can be a hot spot sometimes if all these spawns like you have the northwest woodland spawn, then you have the spawn to the south of Sentry Tower right here. So you got, five spawn points that are like within the vicinity of camp services in Northridge. So that they could either go camp services, they can go testing. Testing does not have any safes. I would not recommend looting testing unless that's like on your way out of the map. It's not worth stopping for because it will hinder you in getting, the goal is trying to get loot, right? But also trying to beat other people to it so you can secure that. So let me back up here. Then I'm going to touch just very quickly on observation tower right here. There's really nothing. There's some stuff in there, but like it's not just like testing. It's just a typical loot area. It doesn't have anything to write home about. I wouldn't go there unless you spawn on the east side of the map. Say you're leaving hotel, and then you're going to exfil at bus terminal. Then you can stop there because it's on your way. But I wouldn't go there right off the rip. Okay, and then on the side of the map too. So we're going to communication station up here. What I want to see here. Okay, so in communication station, there is no locked rooms, but there is a free safe. The free safe is going to be downstairs. So if you're coming through, let's say you're coming through from the west side of the map. If you come in, let me delete that. So if you're coming in right here and you go up this way, in this building right here, like the northwest corner of communication station, there's a free safe. Um, Again, you can hit it if you spawn. So I know you could spawn right here, but I wouldn't. I still wouldn't go there because the free safe. For me, it's about again going back, getting to the hot spots to try to get the loot because you're gonna make more money long term. Now, for the newer players that are like kind of just learning, yeah, you can make a little loot run if you kind of want to avoid some PvP to build your money up. That's okay to do too, Like you don't have to go to the hot spots. You can kind of hit, you can hit communication station testing, observation camp services, and then you can get out if you want, You don't have to go to the hot spots. It's just for me, I've been playing this game for a while and I that's just typically what I do, but you can do it any which way you want to. There's no right or wrong, way to run this map, by the way. This is just kinda my impressions of it.
Hmm.
And then okay, so parking lot. So you got parking lot, and then you have this spawn. So, typically, if I spawn parking lot, I'm gonna go to cable, more than likely. Now, sometimes I may run to hotel still. It just depends. I always recommend bringing in a endurance stim, and then I would say minimum of 3, 3 of the energy drinks. So I'll buy, like, 1 Nom Nom because Nom Nom's prices are they go up and down pretty consistently, so sometimes they could be, like, 9K for a Nom Nom, and sometimes it's 14K. But if you buy so the Nom Nom it has energy and hydration. Now, if you buy the taurine, the blue energy drink, it has, like, no energy, but more hydration. So I'll run, like, 1 Nom Nom and 2 blue taurines. That way it can still, like, help me, keep the endurance up with the stim, and then also I have something to for food. Okay, so cable, I would say cable's a pretty hot spot, main spot in the map, especially so those 2 spawn points that I circled, there is this spawn point right here, so you could possibly have 3 teams pushing to cable, and get some good fights in. Now, what I will say let me see. So, this spawn right here hold on, let me, delete these real quick. So, this spawn right here, they're either gonna go cable, or what they could do is they can go sewage. Sewage is right there. So, and then you got this spawn by dam. And I'm gonna come back to cable. I'm just kinda hitting these spawn points real quick. So dam, what I've noticed a lot of people are doing is they will burn the dam exfil. So it's one less exfil for people to use. It's more common and forbidden than it is lockdown, but they'll just activate it so that way no one can use that exfil. Kinda like forcing them into other exfils. More map control from that, depending on how that player is gonna play that. Okay, so now what I want to do. So in cable car, there is 3. safes. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so you have the cafeteria cashier's office key. So it is a 3 out of 3 key. It is located so when you're let me pen here. So right here by the military armored car, there's the building right here. Try to draw a little. Let me draw something better for you guys. Not the line. Okay, so that little dot. I know it's hard to see, and we'll cover it in the video as well. When you go in through the door on the building, I guess you could say the southwest part of the building, there is when you go in through the door and take a left, there's a locked room in there with a safe. There are some reds in there that I've pulled. It is a good safe. The key itself, it fluctuates in price, but it typically is around like um 700 700K. It's 3 out of 3 use, but if you use the key on
Oh,
lockdown and it's a
700K. They're
yeah,
less than 200 now.
really?
They're very cheap.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
then I got gypped because I just bought one for 700K.
Wow. I mean, so I have I maintain about 5 in my key ring at a time because I don't want to like run into a situation where I don't have them.
Mhm.
I've paid 200K recently for them. Now they may have went up because nobody used them for a long time. But now I feel like I'm pulling more reds from it than any other key in Northridge, so I use it every time I can. 700K is
Yeah.
crazy. You buy it from Deke for 700K?
No, 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 no. I bought it off the market
Holy
for 700. Yeah.
dude, maybe I mean, yeah,
You
the way that the economy works in this game, dude, I believe it. Like that's crazy.
Yep, don't listen to me, guys. I got robbed. So okay, and then okay, so we talked about cafeteria lounge key. Now, so if you go up the stairs of that building where you just hit cafeteria and you slide over towards like the east, there is a free safe upstairs. And it's a loud safe when it activates, so just be careful. Don't stand in the windows because if you loot that safe and stand in the windows, a lot of people will sit in this area and they'll be looking towards cable and they'll just try to snipe you in the window. I've killed a couple players that'll hit the save and they'll just stand right there in the window and just snipe them even before they get to the safe. So it's like a duck hunt, you know. So don't stand. I will advise you anytime you're looting. What I do is unless I'm in a closed room with no windows, I lay down because every time I've had it, and I've done it too, where I go to loot something and I don't lay down, and I'm like, I instantly regret, and I got shot right in the head because you're leaving yourself exposed. So just a little tip there. Tuna, do you know which key, what it is called? I'm looking real quick. I'm trying to
Are you
find the
talking about the
key that.
one that okay, so there's the cafeteria cashier key, and then there is the
Yeah,
one it's like waiting room key.
is that
Pretty
the
sure
one
that's what
that's
it's called.
on the first floor? Okay,
No, no,
so
there's the one that's on the first floor is the cashier cafeteria key, that 3 use key or that 3 out of 3 key. The one that's on the cable car station on you once you go down the stairs in cable car
yes,
station, it is the I believe it is the waiting room key. I'll look at
yes.
it's the I'm gonna
Waiting
look at
area
the
lounge
exact
key is what it
waiting area
is.
lounge key. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that is a very good key to have. I've been using that key a lot. Found some good reds in there. So what you could do is if you can get there quick. So if you spawn right here on to the west of cable car and you hurry up and get in, you can kind of. I would hit honestly. I would save cafeteria for last. I would just go straight down to waiting area key or lounge key, excuse me, and then I would hit that first, and then once you're down there, hit that safe and then go right back up and kinda clear just wait a couple minutes because the last thing you wanna do is if you go all the way down to the basement, there's no more safes after that, there's, the 3 safes. If you go downstairs, now you have people that can come down, and you're just in a bad spot, like, you're low ground, you're kinda stuck up there. There is 2 ways that you can go into, the main where the waiting area lounge area is. So when you come in through this way, if you go there's stairs that you can go down. You can go down to, like, to the side here and then go into the side where the waiting area lounge key or, like, room is, or you can go if you go straight hold on, let me delete that. So there's like the main area. If you go straight down the stairs at Cable Car Station, you can go down. That's the other way. So there's two different areas, but it's still I fought down there before. It's not fun to get trapped down there. So just some information on that. All right. So what else did I want to talk about? All right. So I covered these spawns right here. Sentry Tower I didn't really say much about, but there's really not much to mention about it. Just because there's not really any loot there. People don't. I've never really seen anyone sit there. I haven't sat there, so I would just avoid it. Just if you spawn there, just go hotel. Um, and then I'm gonna save hotel for last. I think so. Going back, we'll go to the east side of the map now. So we'll touch on sewage real quick here. Sewage is great. It has two safes. It has a locked room downstairs, and that would be the sewage plant workshop key. And then there's a free safe upstairs. It's a loud safe. I have found some good stuff in there. I found a lot of reds in there. Sewage can be one of those like cable. There's a spawn here by dam. They can go through dam. So the common paths that people run, they can go through dam and then they can loop around the hotel, or they'll go back through sewage. This spawn can they don't typically go hotel because they're kind of so far out. I mean, they can. It's not impossible, but they'll either go cable or what they'll do is they'll cut through these woods and then they'll cut over to sewage. And then I would say Beekeeper's Hut, South Village, and North Village. They're all probably some of them are probably hotel. It's always a numbers game, it's a 50-50. Either they're gonna come to that spot or people are gonna go hotel. That's typically how it works on this map. So going back to sewage here. And I've spawned here too. North Village can get to sewage, and this spawn right here can get in right to the east of Dam. They can get into sewage pretty fast. I mean, if you pop, I would save your sim. I know I told you to bring in one endurance. I would not use your stim unless you're gonna go hotel. Now, if you don't plan on going hotel and you want to use your stim, go for it. But I always save my endurance stim for hotel because it's usually the longest. Even if I spawn, so I remember the spawn I said that you spawn close west right here. I'm gonna circle it in between camp and hotel. I will still use an endurance stim because of like I said, you want to get in quick, you want to set up, and then wait for other teams to get there. And then briefly talking about Sawmill, the only notable thing about Sawmill to the south of sewage is there is a free safe, right? Well, I don't know why I circled that. It's not in the field. It's under this little we'll just call it like a little like a metal building, but there's no sides on it. It's just it's open and it's a very sketchy safe. I personally I'm on the fence about hitting it, honestly. If I'm solo, it just depends. I always have so when looting Sawmill, if you're playing in a squad, I would always have someone up here to the left, to the west of Sawmill, right on the ridge, watching. Because I've had people from Beekeeper's Hut that kinda push late. Because some people, they will loot South Village and North Village, and then they will push out. So, even though right off the rip, if you go sewage and no one's there, that doesn't mean that they pushed and they're gone from the area. Now, I've had a lot of late people push, and then you go to loot Sawmill, and then I've gotten killed because I wasn't expecting someone to be there, and they're just kinda ratting the safe. So, you definitely take it with your own. It's a very risky, high risk safe. I actually just found a red in sawmill today. I found a dawn, so it's take it at your own risk. Um, Touching on the beekeeper spawn, not much really to say. It's just a very typical loot spot. There's no safe. It just got like some jackets, some cases. If I spawn beekeepers, either I'm gonna push sewage or I'm gonna go hotel. Um, North Village spawn right up here, the North Village spawn. I'm probably just gonna push sewage, and then after sewage, how I run it is I'll hit sewage and then maybe get into a fight, and then I'll hit, I'll go to sawmill and then I'll go hotel. You don't, even if you don't, if you get to hotel late, you can still, you may, what am I trying to say? All the loots might not be hit because some people will get into fights and then they'll be like trying to, heal up and pack up the guys that they just fought. And a lot of stuff may not, or they may even choose to get out, um, and may not loot some of the stuff. I've seen that before too. So let me back up here. And then South Village. Oh, Jesus. I cannot draw today, guys. I'm sorry. So South Village right here, spawn. What I'll do is I will just push hotel immediately. Now, one important thing I want to say about this. With South Village spawn, there is not a South Village and Beekeeper hut. Like if you spawn South Village, you're not going to have a spawn Beekeeper. That's just too close. So it's either one or the other. Now there is a North Village and South Village spawn. I've seen it every time. I've never seen it where it hasn't been. But South Village right here, you have this team right here. They're just kind of. I have seen it to where I'm pushing hotel, and they will kind of just sit in this little forest, kind of to the east of the shack, and they will sit there and just wait for you to come by and try to rat you. It doesn't happen a lot, but so if you spawn there and they spawn there, they're probably gonna get there first. But if you hurry up and use your durns with your energy drink, you can still be right behind them and try to get that fight. Personally, I like fighting, but at very tactical level. Like I'm not just gonna push blindly at them unless I have some information. So I want to make sure now. Some of these other spots, like Cliffside Highway right here, Eastern Bridge, there's nothing. I wouldn't even go there. I mean, so really quick. So at Eastern Bridge, there is an exfil if you spawn on the west side of the map. But I've taken it a couple times, but like, and I know North and South Village, there's no safes there. It's just like a bunch of loose loot. And I know for the big container, I had to go there a lot for that, and that was extremely tedious. Okay, and then let's see. Make sure I covered all those little spots here. But also, you can get a lot of a good loot. Like say if you're doing your loot run, you could hit South and North Village. You could push sewage late, and it just because people go there, they don't always have the keys. Surprisingly, by now you would think everyone has keys, but that you know that's not a bad thing though. Like a lot of people are new players are trying to get their money up. Maybe you don't want to buy a key. That's okay too. You can loot a lot of the loose loot. Northridge is huge. You could like hit all these little areas and still make good money off purple. 5K square. That's my rule. Um okay, so we are gonna talk about the hotel. The main spot. All right. So
The big one.
yeah, the
I hadn't
big
talked in a while,
one.
man. I had to put something out there.
All right. Let me make sure I'm getting. Hold on here. Trying to start. Okay, so floor. We'll call it. What did you say, Tuna? You said what would you say? The ground floor. Is that what we're calling
Yeah,
it?
so the way floors work, depending on which country you're coming from, usually in my experience, there's G floor, that's your ground floor. You have the first floor, which is sometimes called the second floor, and you have the second floor, which is sometimes called the third floor. We'll say ground floor. I'll say second floor and third floor. We'll do that just because that's how the map. If you look up like the TNCO map, which is the one we're using. Thank you for letting us use your map, even though we didn't ask. Uh, Thank you for creating a very in-depth usable map. That's how they refer to it as G2 and 3. So that's what I think that's what we should do. I lied to you. They do G1 and 2. G1 and 2. You forget everything I just said. G1 and 2.
Okay. One thing also, I did forget to mention this as Tuna was talking, made me think about it. Access bridge right here. It is an exfil. It's not every time. It's 25 minutes after 25 minutes elapsed in the raid, you could take it. And then there is a free safe. Now this, I know I said Sawmill's sketchy, but this is the sketchiest map or sketchiest map, sketchiest safe on the map because of you have rats that will be on these rocks right here or right over here that hangs over hotel. People will sit there and rat you trying to get to the either the safe or the exfil. So be very careful. Take it at your own risk. I always check the areas. And then another exfil I want to mention that I didn't talk about
Before you
is
jump on down on access bridge, it is rare, but I have had it happen to me. If someone has good enough optics, whether you're at dam or access bridge, you can see them. You can see across the water and get a pop shot off. So be careful if you're extracting a dam. Be careful at your access bridge. It's less common than where tac circle, but I have been popped by a T6 round all the way from dam on the access bridge trying to loot. So be careful.
yes, that is true. That's a very good point. Um, and then one more tidbit I wanted to say right here is lifeboat. It's I believe it's 7,500 Cohen for the exfil. It used to be a key, and they took the key away and made it, pay. Now it's not always there, but when it is, it comes in clutch. Um, but also, like Tina was talking about with Dam, be careful using that exfil as well because like right here where access bridge and Dam is right here, it's I mean there could be players around this whole area. They could sit on towards the edge of that and they'll just snipe you. Now, what you could do, throwing the smoke, it could be good, but also be bad. If you don't throw smoke, um, people are way easier to see. But if you do throw smoke, then it's more, now it's like, oh, someone's smoking. Let's go look at them. So
Yeah,
whatever strat you want to
they'll
do.
definitely know you're there if you throw smoke. So be careful.
Yeah, sometimes I'll smoke towards it just to ensure. Just depends. Just depends on what I'm feeling. Okay, so going back to hotel. Let's see here. Where is it at here? I'm trying to find the key.
Stop.
So, okay, so for the keys, talking about hotel really quick, building B. So when you first go in, hold on, let me just roll this real quick. Let's just say you're coming up through this road. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and then cut over here. Now there's a lot of scavs at hotel, so that can become a problem when you're trying to be low profile, or trying to do your loot run. The first key that you're gonna run into right here is going to be the manager's office key. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna shoot through the ground floor. It's gonna be really hard to see, right? It's gonna be really hard to see, but when you shoot through the ground floor to the front, like I showed you, you're gonna go behind the desk. There's a door. You're gonna open that door, and then you're gonna take a left, and there's a locked room door right there. Gonna hit that's where the first safe where I'm gonna run. I always try to go. Now you're not gonna always go through building B, but that's like kind of where I like to start. And then what I'll do is I will go when you get out of there, jump over the desk or go around it, and then go up the stairs. And then the first door on your left, that's there's gonna be another key room, and that's gonna be the building B reception room key. That's a pretty solid key. Honestly, a lot of the hotel Northridge keys are gonna be really good, but that's gonna have a safe in there. There's a safe downstairs, safe upstairs. Now, when you're going through see here, like I said, it's gonna be kind of hard to see on here, but when you're going through building B, there's a couple free safes. So there is a free safe. It is like this. I would say it's the second room down from the building B reception room key on your left hand side. Now, one thing I want to stress is that there's going to be a lot of teams that try to push through we'll call it the lobby where I go in from. It is a lot of people will come up and they'll sit by building B room key and then they will jiggle peek down the hallway. Because that hallway that goes from building C or building B to building C, it is a death trap. I always try to be quick when you're hitting these rooms. I wouldn't even hit some of the jackets when you're going into the loot room, just kind of hit the safe and then move along. If you have time to go circle back, you can hit it real quick. And then going on, so after I'll hit that free save. Now, be mindful, the free saves, they're loud. Okay. So if if you're maybe trying to be more cautious, maybe not hit the free saves, just hit the locked rooms because they're gonna be more quiet. But just be mindful of that. Now, when you go up the stairs, it's kind of like the middle point between building B and C. Now you're gonna be would you consider that building C now? If you're
Yeah,
going
it's
up when you go up
it's
those
the
stairs?
crosswalk and the stairs that is right between building B and building C. So you from there, once you're up, like on whatever floor you're on, if you go left, you go into building C. If you turn right, you go building B. So it's right in the middle.
Okay. So yeah, so now you're going from we'll call it you're going up to the third floor, I guess you could say, top floor, to building C. So when you get up the stairs and then you get up the stairs, you make a left. The first door you're gonna see is on the first door on the right. It's gonna be building C lounge 1 key. There's a free safe there's a free safe. There's a safe in that room. It's not a loud safe. You open that and then there's a couple computers. It's an okay room. I don't think I've ever gotten a red in there. Maybe once. It's an okay key, but still I would grab it. And then when you move down, so out of that room, if you go out of that room down the hall and you make a right, there's going to be another door. And then through that door, there is another room. So when you go through that door, it'll be like in the back corner on the left. That is the building C lounge private room key. That is a pretty good key. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the key, I think I just picked it up for 1.8 mil. I don't know if Deke, I've never gotten it through Deke, but it's a very expensive key. It has pretty solid loot. I've had some good luck with it. And then that's another key. And then what you can do is when you come out of that room, I'm just trying to envision it. So you come out of that room and make a right. Don't go out the door that you just came through. Take another right. There's a door. When you go through that door, let me mark it on the map real quick here. You're like, I know it's really hard to see, but you're like kind of in the middle here. There's a pool hall and then there's a free safe right inside the room by the pool hall. It's a loud safe, so again, if you're trying to be low profile, and I know like hotels kind of hard to show with like drawing on the map, but when we give you guys like the videos of us using them, it'll all make sense what I'm saying and what keys go to where. It'll be way easier than me drawing on the map for hotel because hotels, it's multi-leveled. It's kind of hard to break it down in terms of that for you visually to see. Okay, so once you're up in pool, what you can do, and I'm going to draw this on the map. When you're going from C to D in pool, there is a little ledge. Like say it's right there. There's a little window you can crawl out of and then like a ledge you can sit on. I don't typically go that route. People sit up there all the time and try to shoot in third party from like they'll sit at that edge and they'll like shoot over to oh, let me do that. They'll shoot over to like building C. So when remember those stairs I told you about when you're going the up to the top, people will sit there and they'll just shoot you. I just got shot. I went up there once and I think I prefaced it like I was probably a bad idea. And I just started getting shot immediately. So I would advise going up there, but if you want to do it real quick to relocate, I'd say it's a better spot to relocate than it is to just like sit up there and like shoot because you're very exposed. You don't have much cover and people are always going to be looking up there. Okay, and then one other what also I wanted to cover for another room. So when you go towards the east side of now you're crossing from building C kind of into building D. You're gonna go out pool hall towards building D from C. Then you're gonna go down the stairs, and then you're only gonna go down one level. Once you go down one level on the stairs, and then you go towards building D, it is your first room on the right-hand side, there's another free safe. Now, it's again, loud safe. It's gonna bring a lot of people If you're trying to remain low profile, don't hit the free safe because it's gonna give your position away. People are gonna know you're there. I would save if you're trying to do loot running. I would save free safes for last. That way you kind of hit all like the main bigger rooms, and then if you got time or you feel like you cleared it out, you can go back and hit the free. And then the last room I wanted to touch on is how to get there. So once you're hitting the free safe, so let me mark on here on building D. So you went across pool hall down. You're on the first room. We'll just say it's right there. Okay. You're gonna go. There's a little divider wall right here. Let me just draw a little bit. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go around the dividing wall. That is not really. You can't really
That's fine.
see.
That's fine. I think that you know.
Yeah, you go around the dividing wall, and then you keep going straight into the room. You go to the end of the hallway, take a left, and then a quick right, and then it's gonna put you outside kind of. You're gonna go up the stairs, and then you're gonna make a right, and that's gonna be the building D projection room key. That is a pretty solid key. I pulled some reds in there. Um, it is kind of like in the back over there. You can sit on the ledge before you go into building or projection area. Sometimes if you want to just prop up, eat some popcorn, and watch the movie that they got, I think it's pretty cool. I've sat up there a couple times and watched it. But you could also look down. So we'll just say the ledge is right here. You can kind of look down at like right towards this area. People are going to be coming up right there, and then you can just ambush them. That's or you can go. There's a little bridge that connects to building A, and then you can kind of get some information like looking in towards building C and B. I think it's a good spot, but again, you're exposed. Just when I say get information, I say, try to do quick, like don't be in that area for more than 30 seconds because that way it's quick. I'll look around, see what I see. If not, move. Because the longer you're just sitting out in the open, you're way more susceptible to getting sniped in the head or getting shot at. So, and then building A, um, it's not really that great for loot. There's a bunch of rooms that you can go in that has like it's like a traditional like some of the spots kind of like I talked about, kind of like how I talked was Beekeeper's Hut. It's just standard loot. The one thing I will say that's good at building A is there is a secure box to put stuff in so you can pull it out of raid if you want to get it delivered. It's in the first floor on building A. So if you need to like throw a red in there, you'll have to go in there and get that just for like a useful thing. One other thing I wanted to talk about is let me try to move this up so I can see. Okay, and this is huge for hotel. When you fight in hotel, there is an exfil. It's an RV. It's the RV exfil right here at the south side of by building C. It's right outside building C. You have to take 2 dog tags, deposit 2 dog tags, and then you can get out. It's like as soon as you hit the timer, it's like 29 seconds. I will say be very careful of this exfil because a lot of people, and this happened to me say about a week ago, I got ratted. Some people like I'll put the little red dots where people sit. There's some tents right here. People sit on the other side of the bus and they will just camp you. And then, I think I had a raid where I was like 4.5 mil, and the dude just sat there and just killed me. And if you're heavy trying to walk out in the open, oh yeah, it's a bad time. Even when you do like the backpack trick where you drop your bag, jump, and then pick it back up.
Cheating.
You said
Sorry.
what?
Cheating.
Cheating. No.
I'm upset because I can't do it. I try so hard. I'm not very good at doing it.
No, by this time next week, Tuna's gonna know how to do the backpack. We're gonna work on it. Okay. Um, Tuna, is there anything else that I know you're about to do your side of it? Is there anything else right off the rip that I don't think so. I think I kind of covered most part. I know there's probably some things that Tuna's gonna add but yeah, if you want to take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Great detailed interaction. And let me know if the visuals that I provided on the screen as Tact was talking, the little screenshots that I'm adding that show, you know, the picture of the key and the picture of the room and any hotspot he mentioned that's kind of hard to see on the map because, you know, we're drawing from a top-down view. So if those included graphic visuals that I added on the screen have been helpful, you know, let me know because I don't mind doing them. Now, again, I always preface of saying tax is probably the correct way to do everything. That's not what I do unless I'm playing with tact. All right, so I'm going to go talk from more of a solo perspective. Now, I do play in a group, a small group, but a lot of times they end up dying. And I have been playing a lot of solo ops lately. So the solo perspective is a little different. And even when I'm running with the team that I play with normally, we're not super confident in big fights that you'll get in hotel because usually the people in the hotel are pretty juiced. So we play a little bit more carefully, the least amount of risk for the highest amount of reward, and that reward being loot. So if I'm spawning on the left-hand side of the map over here, anywhere over here, all right, I am going to go straight to communication station. I go to communication station, I hit the free save. From communication station, I'm going to go down back behind these rocks. There's a way to hop down behind these rocks over here in a way that's safe. That doesn't leave you open to anywhere over here. Because if you run down from communications down here, you have possible parking lot, or this guy up here, or this person up here. You have a lot of chance of someone pushing in and seeing you in the open. And I've killed a lot of people in this area right here. So you got to be very careful. So if I'm coming over here, even if I spawn over here at Century Tower, I'm going to communication station. I'm always going to communication station if I'm on this side, this top left side of the map or bus terminal. Then I hop down the rocks down to communication station. I take the road up to cable car. I always check parking lot because that person who spawned there is probably going to be gone already. But someone from here, or anyone who pushes up to cable car, they usually stop at parking lot. In my experience, there's a chance they're going to stop there to loot or stop there just to verify that nobody else is there. So I always clear parking lot, make sure it's safe. From parking lot, then I make my way over to cable car. And then from cable car, I'm going to hit this first lock safe, that cashier's key. I'm going to run down into cable car station, hit the other locked room. Then I'm going to hit the loud safe. And the reason I do that is because it gives me the quickest chance to be able to pull stuff from two safes before this person, whoever makes it over to cable car and then is going to contest me. Because if we go to the free save first or even second, that's a large period of time where it's a loud noise that everyone knows you're there. If you hit these locked rooms, you can get those without anyone even knowing you're there if you're quick and quiet enough. From cable car station, I'm going to run down to sewage, and then at the very tail end, if I have time and I haven't died, I'm going to run into hotel and then clear the free safes and the locked rooms that are still there. Now, if you're playing lockdown, like Tac says, there's a good chance those locked rooms aren't hit. Especially the sewage one I've noticed doesn't get hit as often. The hotel ones, I feel like if people are going to hotel, they're going in there for a reason. They know they have the keys. On Forbidden or solo ops, if someone has been there, it's a very strong chance that those safes and those keys have been hit. But a lot of times they'll hit those rooms and they'll only loot the safe and they'll leave all the free loot that's in there. And a lot of those rooms have a lot of good free loot in there that you can pull good golds from. And when you're a little dirty, greedy rat like me, you go in there and you get that stuff. You get that. So that's like top left hemisphere, top left quadrant of the map. That's where I go. If I'm at the bottom left quadrant here, I'm going to go to camp services first. So if I'm here or here, I go to camp services, and then I take my route up to communication station into here. So I'm avoiding hotel, especially from like a solo play perspective, until the very end where it has the least amount of risk. If I'm spawning on the right-hand side of the map, anywhere on the right-hand side of the map, like Tac said, there's a lot of quests for your 3x3 storage space that send people here. It has been a very highly contested area in my experience, even later in the season. People doing their quests late, or people that just know people are going to be there for their quest, that if I spawn like here in South Village or Beekeeper's Hut, I will usually try to clear South and North Village first, me personally. Um, I'll usually I start off in South Village, sometimes at the top of North Village, but I'll clear out South Village, make sure it's safe. I'll push up into North Village, but you have to be very careful. And here's why. This whole area right here, for some reason, people like to sit in there. And they like to shoot you as you cross from South to North Village. And it has happened to me multiple times where I'll be halfway through South and North Village. And if you're running like in the middle area here, there's no cover. There's very little cover. You're gonna get got, and they have cover, so you won't see them. They'll see you and they'll kill you. So you got to be very careful about that. I tend to try to go around to the right backhand side over here to go to North Village first, and I also know that gun stores, a lot of fights happen there. So whether it's in gun stores or in the immediate area, like the entrance into North Village from the gun stores right here, I get in a lot of fights there too. So it's nice to go ahead and get those fights over with, because it seems like to me that people are pushing in there more often. Because if you get the fights done here, then you don't generally have as many people to contest you when you go to sewage plant. Now you still have the possibility of this person or this person going to sewage, but it's better to fight these people than to fight all of these people at the same time. So I usually get my fights in there. From North Village, we'll go over to sewage. Sewage, I'll hit the free safe and the key if it's still there. From there, again, you don't go to hotel if you're a solo player, or if you're a player that doesn't think you can handle big, strong, juicy boys, because there will very rarely, not ever, there's always, almost always, sometimes it's very rare, there will always be juicy boys in hotel. Usually multiple teams. And like even last night, me and Tact were playing, and we were in there. We wiped 2 teams, and then I was putting my legs and arms back on, and then another team pushed me, and I died. So you just got to be very careful in there. From there, I go to cable car, communication station, camp services, hotel, if I have time. Again, from a solo player perspective, or a player that's not confident in fighting teams, you're going to hotel is a last resort. You can get a lot of good loot, especially from like a forbidden or a solo ops, because it's forbidden level. You can pull a lot of good reds or good golds from anywhere in here. I think every key on Northridge is worth buying. Some people contest that key, that three out of three key, the cashier's key. Some people say it's not great. I used to not run it until recently, actually, but I ran with a buddy who hit it every single time, and then 3 raids in a row he pulled a red. I was like, okay, I'm never not running the key again. As long as it's not 700k, that's crazy. I've only ever paid like 180 for mine, and I have a little stockpile of them right now, so maybe I just I'm not with the times, but that wasn't that long ago. But the economy, I've said it before, is dog shit. Hate the economy in ABI. Yeah, so from there I'll get out, and then usually we don't make it that far, but that is my game plan from the get-go, is to avoid hotel, hit as many keys as possible. If you go into an area that has a loud key and a lock room, hit the lock room first. Tac did mention that as well. And just, be safe as possible, because if you're doing a solo ops run, it's forbidden level. People are in there with T6 and HKs, and it really feels like there's a lot more players on solo ops, and I don't know if they just condense you together, but it's like every corner I churn around playing solo ops, there's somebody there. There's always somebody there, and they always get the drop on me because they're usually ratting. A lot of rats in solo ops, in my experience. So be careful for that. But yeah, so that is generally my kind of overview for most maps that we'll talk about. Is I'm going to take the path of least resistance. I'm going to grab as much loot as I can. I'm going to save those high, danger zones for last. And it may sound boring because you're not getting, you think you might not get into a lot of fights, but you'll still run into fights. We're not the only people with those ideas, right? We're not the only person that's thinking to go to those places because there's less people there. So you still get a decent amount of fights. You just get a lower chance of being overwhelmed by multiple teams or super juice teams, especially if you're playing like lockdown solo or lockdown with a team, like I said, that doesn't feel comfortable fighting those big juicy boys. Just stuff to keep in mind. And that is
One thing.
essentially. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh no, I was just gonna say really quick. One thing I just wanted to say is that's why I love doing this because it gives two players perspectives on how the different paths, and I love that because I love actually watching. Tuna does a way better job at explaining. I mean, I feel like I'm on Monday Night Football and Terry Bradshaw's drawing over this is the playbook right here. Um, and then one thing I wanted to add, and I'm curious about, do you think that you could hit every major loot spot on the map in one game? What do you
Absolutely,
think?
I do it often as long as I don't run into a fight that takes too long. So
Yeah.
I like to engage in a fight, and I'm like, I'm gonna push this guy, he's gonna push me. I don't like long drawn out fights. Now we had a couple of those last night that took
Oh
forever.
my. Yeah.
But if it's me solo or me and my team, we'll push pretty hard. Because I like to have that definitive I win, you win. Let's get out of this game. All right, let's either let me go loot or you killed me so I can get back in the game. So generally, I play very heavily aggressive, which is probably to the detriment of me and my team. So I have on multiple occasions pretty regularly, if I can manage to either not get into a fight or win a fight pretty quickly, loot everything in the map. You have to be quick and you have to not let fights draw out. But it is very easy to lose 10 minutes of the raid, jiggle peeking a guy who's jiggle peeking you because you can't get a hit on them, they can't get a hit on you. So
Mm-hmm.
it is possible though.
I may have to do that.
All right.
Do that this next week. I'm gonna have to bring in maybe three endurance stems and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something worth doing if you're trying to get money. It doesn't make the best content because you're getting into less, like I said, intense fights. But from a perspective of a player who doesn't care about content as much, or who just needs to make some money or wants to make money, he feels like that's what they want to do. Then yeah, definitely give it a go. Give my little Death's Run a go. All right, that was Tact's Tactical Corner.